What's good, everyone? It's your boy Natsu with another video for the channel. Welcome back to DMV Sports Zone. Of course, I got Evan, another great content creator on this channel. And we're here to give you guys our immediate must-see DMV reaction to this game that was, I don't even know the best word to describe it, but Washington lost to Kansas City in what ended up being a blowout. To be fair, it was close for a good part of the game, closer than a lot of people thought, but it ended up being a blowout. And Evan, I guess I'll leave the floor to you. Your initial thoughts on Washington's loss today.
Honestly, I'm a little bit tempered by this one, mainly because my expectations going into this game were like on the floor. Like Kansas City put up 31 points against us. I thought they would have that by halftime, honestly, with the way our defense was going. And really, that's kind of you got to give credit to the defensive line. They've been getting better and better every single week because you've seen Chase Young get in there and stick his nose in the backfield. Like Patrick Mahomes was getting pressure in his face all day. He was getting lit up. But also it's Patrick Mahomes. So like he did what Patrick Mahomes does, and Kansas City's offense just came alive in the second half because of it. But now, my guy, we gotta talk about Taylor Heineke. Because I mean, I'm not saying that I was one of the ones that said like give him a chance that he could be the starter. I wasn't saying any of that. Well, maybe emphasis on maybe after week one, but now, because look, you are playing one of the worst defenses in the league. I believe Kansas City's like 32nd, the worst defense in the league in a whole bunch of categories. Although to be fair, that's because our defense has been kind of climbing. Yeah. Primarily D-line. Let me say that again. Primarily D-line. But you are playing a team that ranks dead last in the league in defense in a lot of categories.
And Dave just brought up what you just said. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And not only do you score 13 points at home, you score 13 points, you don't even score a point in the second half.
Yeah.
Like, and I get Antonio Gibson was dealing with an injury, but you still have two other backs though. So that's not that big of an excuse. And I get that Terry McLaurin had an injury, and honestly, I love that Dyami Brown got more involved in the offense this game.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, you only got so many excuses for only putting up 13 points against one of the worst defenses in the league, man. At this point, what I want to see against Green Bay, I want to see Kyle Allen. I want to see Kyle Allen play. Maybe start, maybe not, but Taylor Heineke can't get the full 60 minutes, man. Not after what we just saw. Because at the end of the day, this one falls squarely on him out of all the players.
Yeah, which is the inverse of what we've been saying for pretty much the entire season up until now, right? It's usually been the defense that's been at fault. I feel like Sean Taylor, we'll talk about him a little bit later in this.
Like the defense did their job. You held Patrick freaking Mahomes to 24 points. The defense did their job.
Yeah. My initial thoughts, a couple things. One, we couldn't stop Travis Kelce for our lives. He didn't score a touchdown or anything, but he was always open down the field. And I feel like the only thing that was limiting him was his hand injury that forced him to go off the field occasionally. We caused a bunch of turnovers in the first half, and I tweeted, Ed Oliver tweeted like, "Oh, we got to take advantage. Pretty much." And I retweeted and commented saying that we are only up by 3 points at halftime with 3 turnovers by the Kansas City Chiefs. That is absolutely unacceptable. I almost immediately knew that they were just going to score, and it was going to end up being they were going to end up racking up a lot of points pretty much, and that's what ended up happening. I, like you said on my notes, that Dyami Brown, I like that he got more involved. I think that was definitely a highlight of the game. Terry McLaurin uncharacteristically dropping.
We got to talk about Jamin Davis too, man.
Yeah. And also that phantom pass interference, bro. I don't know if you saw that tweet when I was tweeting that phantom pass interference, one of the worst offensive pass interference calls I've ever seen. That was a trash call early in the game. Definitely swayed the momentum. Um, but yeah, ultimately the defense, you can't really blame them for this loss. Although towards the end of the second half, they definitely seemed like they gave up, which is not right. But I feel like the Sean Taylor inspiration was definitely with them for most of the game. Ron Rivera did not go for it. I see the comment here. Ron Rivera did not go for it a couple times on fourth down when he had the opportunity. So the riverboat was not in full effect today. Yeah, and like you said, the offense. I mean, I said this in a tweet. The defense that showed up today for 3 quarters at least was the 2020 defense. Sadly, that came with the 2020 offense, and that meant no points, only field goals. We had one great play to Ricky Seals-Jones for a touchdown, even though, to be fair, there were two guys wide open on that play. Dax Milne's also wide open. Also, Taylor Heineke way underthrew Ricky Seals-Jones on that play. But he got it there. That's all that matters. That was a touchdown. But that was it. That was the highlight of the offense today. Antonio Gibson, we'll talk about him a little bit more, was very underwhelming today. I think he had one of his worst games in his Washington career today. He had a fumble, but also wasn't really effective on the ground. Yes, he got injured, which left him out the game for a good part of it. But like, I don't think he had a good game whatsoever. J.D. McKissick does J.D. McKissick things, and is, again, we've talked about this on this channel. He's one of the most underrated players in this league, and continue to show that today. But yeah, ultimately, at the end of the day, we did not take advantage of the turnovers that we had in the first half. You got to do that when you have Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill on the other side of the field. We didn't do that. We were only up by 3 in the first half, and yeah, I knew they were going to rack up the points because that's what the Chiefs do. Oh my gosh! You see that, Evan?
See what? I'm watching Red Zone.
No, the donation. $10 by Dave in DC. Our first ever donation on the channel. Let's go. We appreciate it, Dave. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Big thank you to Nazi and Evan for all your insights throughout this year. Great work. Appreciate it, bro. I hope this doesn't mean this is the last time we'll see you, though, because he said throughout this year.
Man,
hopefully, it's
keep
not
coming
the last
back.
time.
We gonna have the inside all year long. Keep coming back.
Yeah. But thank you, Dave, so much for this. It really means a lot, especially on a day like this. But yeah, now we're gonna get through the comments. Sorry, guys, it took that long, but I'm still
that ain't the one.
Evan. You know how like optimistic, like you try to be optimistic about this team. I am the same way with Ron Rivera. I know it's hard to say it right now. I still have faith in Ron Rivera. I still do. But we knew this part of the schedule was going to be rough. I mean, all of us expected us to lose this game. We ended up losing, but it just sucks for it to happen the way it did, especially on a day like today. What else?
Because I don't think we anywhere near that drastic. I don't think we anywhere near that.
I don't think we're in for a head coach. I potentially a coordinator change. I don't think we're that.
Defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, but not head coach. No, not head coach. Not yet.
We play the Chiefs, guys. Like at the end of the day,
that's what I was saying. Week 3, we played Buffalo.
Yeah, and Buffalo. I mean,
like our 4 losses were against the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Saints. Like 3 of them are pretty good. 3 of those teams are probably going to make a run in the playoffs. Like, got to keep everything in perspective.
T-Life saying here we play like a team that has no name. Yep, we did.
Got to give you that. Got to give you that.
Yep. D did not step up. Oh, the O-line gave up way too many pressures today. Way too many pressures. This was like, I think, how many sacks have we given up before today? I think it was 3 sacks, 3 or 4 sacks in 4 games, something like that, or 5 sacks, something like that.
And then we got to talk about that play that really should have been a sack, but ended up like an incomplete pass.
Yeah, the Taylor Heineke, Spinneruzzi, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. But I don't know. The offensive line did not play well. Defensive line did pressure the quarterback a lot, but just could never get home. Besides, I think a couple of plays, maybe 2 sacks.
Yeah, Chase Young got a sack.
Yeah, he got a sack.
Yeah, got the pressure, but like I feel like a lot of us look at the D line and what they did today, and we just kind of shrug our shoulders.
One to two sacks, Evan, is just
Well,
not.
we were playing against
Yeah,
that won't win you too many games, but at the end of the day, we were kind of going up against like Patrick Houdini.
yeah, yeah. Tyreek Hill was going in and out of the game. But when he was on the field, he torched us. Uh,
Nicole Hardman too.
Nicole Hardman, yeah. Oh my, was he the one? No, he was right. The one that
Yeah,
mossed Landon Collins on that
they
first
call that
touchdown.
Moss Landon Collins.
Landon Collins, bro. Landon Collins, man. Why is he still getting? I like that we saw him more at linebacker than strong safety today. I don't know if you noticed that he was more so playing at linebacker, but
Yeah,
next year is the year. We've been saying that for Evan and I have been saying that for our entire lives, Samuel. Pretty much. But I don't know.
I mean, in all fairness, I was kind of the one that said like this year wasn't the year that like the window opens. I said like 2-3 years after this.
Yeah, yeah. Um, to be fair, I think I said year three of Ron Rivera is when this team should take the next step.
Yeah.
Um,
So
and this is
basically,
before seeing the
next
schedule
year is
for
the
this
year.
season.
Next
Yeah,
year is the year where we could start talking about like Ron got to go and this, that, and the third.
and
If
if
he
he
don't start producing,
underperforms,
we got it. Like next year, we start doing
yeah, yeah. But I don't know, man. If the team keeps performing like this, Ron Rivera, in my opinion, and this is coming from a guy, one of the few like supporters I feel like out there of Ron Rivera. I think his seat is definitely gonna get warm, not hot, but warm. Um, but yeah, I agree. Like we talked about earlier, Evan. I think the coordinators are definitely in trouble right now, both
that.
sides, especially after today. Scott Turner, man, this man's.
Yeah,
I
because
don't know if
we
it's
talk
Taylor
about not
Heineke.
going for it on that fourth down. Let's talk
Yes,
about the play before that. 3rd and 2. Why was that play a screen?
yeah,
Why do you dial up a screen on third and
and
two
that
with
was the Jared
Antonio
Patterson,
Gibson
right?
right there?
That was the
I know
Jared Patterson, right? Was that the
Antonio
play?
Gibson, Jared Patterson, J.D. McKissick. They was all right there, and you dial up a screen pass.
And then you
Man,
remember the 3rd and 8 that ended up being a 3-yard slant. I think maybe Heineke was more at fault for that. He threw a 3-yard slant to Terry McLaurin that had no chance of getting to the markers. No chance with a defensive back safety that was right there too to potentially pick it off. 3rd and 8, a 3-yard slant. Like I thought we were past the Alex Smith checkdowns on 3rd and long like stuff. Like I thought we were past that, right? Like, and it just came up today. And also another I don't know, sin, ill, whatever you want to call it, that we've been dealing with for years. This defense giving up. I think the announcer said 5 straight, and then ended up being 6 straight 3rd down conversions for the Kansas City Chiefs on offense. Um, you can't win that way, especially with this offense. But like, it's not just this offense that we've been doing it against. Like, we've been doing it against all the offenses we played this year, even last year when we were actually, we were better. But last year, the year before that, the year before that, like this
the
defense cannot
difference is
get off the
last
field
year
good
we
run.
could get off the field on 3rd down. This year we can't.
At the beginning of the year, though, we
At the
couldn't.
beginning of the year, we couldn't.
Yeah.
We couldn't.
Then we started to, but also our schedule started to get better. So like, I mean, it's kind of
Yeah.
the same as this season. But honestly, the schedule doesn't get too much better unless you want to say like the NFC East is washed, which it is right now. But the
Which it
Cowboys,
is, and
we're
also
playing them twice. So
you could say like Denver's kind of suspect. But other than that, we still got Green Bay on the schedule. We still got the Bucks,
oh my,
and then we may or may not have to play against Russell Wilson still.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully we don't, but yeah. Oh, and the Bears, my
No, I don't think we play
they
the
lost.
Bears this year.
No, I'm saying they Chi-Town is upset right now. They lost again. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
our next, uh, our next opponent, one of our next opponents. Bro, my mind is so out of it after today's performance. It was just, it's so upsetting when even though you expect this to happen, like the way it happens, man. that's why I feel like we're such loyal fans. Like to stick with this team for so long, like when they really don't deserve us. Like let's move on to something positive. Sean Taylor's jersey was retired today at halftime. They had a cool tribute for the game and also cool tribute in the middle of the game. And I was wondering what your thoughts are on that. And also, we didn't get too much of a chance to hear your thoughts on how everything, or at least on YouTube, how everything went down this week. And so I guess, yeah, I'll just give you the space to talk about that and what happened today.
All right, as far as Sean Taylor goes, this man, everybody who's grown up in the DMV, like in the 2000s, like I did, we know how much Sean Taylor meant to the Washington football team and to the area. We knew how much, like, and we all have our favorite Sean Taylor moment. For some of us, it's when he laid that punter out in the Pro Bowl. So, for some of us, it's the pick six he had in the playoff game against Tampa, or the fumble return to seal up the playoff spot that week before in Philly. Like we all have our favorite Sean Taylor moment, and honestly, it's kind of it's kind of it feels like closing the book in a way, in a sense that now we can finally stop this argument that we always have whenever like a cornerback or a safety comes in, and we're always like, should he
Landon
be able
Collins.
to wear number 21? And it's like he should because da da da, or he shouldn't because da 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 da. Now we can finally stop that conversation. And as far as the players on the field, you could tell how much Sean Taylor meant to Chase Young. You could tell that today by the way he played, because Chase actually, I'm going as far as saying this was his best game today. Chase's,
Hmm.
because he
Yep.
had the pressure. He had the pressure on Patrick Mahomes, got a sack, and he was active on a lot of plays too, both pass and run. So you could see the inspiration in the way he played. And then Sam says he don't think that
Help.
punter still.
Face mask too. There was the
Yeah,
inspiration
the
there for
face
the first
mask
half.
too. And then I mean,
The face shield, my bad.
the circumstances behind the whole thing are questionable because of the whole league wide scandal thing. And honestly, I feel like this might end with Dan Snyder having to sell the team. But also, I really get this feeling like that's not going to be the only thing that happens out of this. And I'm not just talking Washington football team. I'm talking league wide, because my logic here is going 650,000 emails. Ain't no way one person sent all of them.
Yeah.
So either Dan had help in this whole scandal, or he was enabled. Either way, he ain't the only one behind the scenes here.
Yeah. And also, if people want to use, I just thought about this, but if people want to say, um, why reveal them if like because you talked about how like there of course there's likely going to be a lot more people involved within this organization. One might argue like, oh, all these people they're already fired. We fired them like last year. Like we don't need to see the they reveal Bruce Allen's emails, right? Like I know John Gruden obviously was the tie there, right? Because he was the current coach of the Las Vegas Raiders at the time. But like I don't know. I agree with you. I don't know. It was just a mess of a situation, but I think we also talked about this over text. Um, they plan this months ahead of time. I really to this day I still don't understand the people out there who think that they plan this week, knowing the emails will be sent out this week just to help their image. Like I don't
That
understand that
like
argument at all.
and it's not only that. Remember, this was announced a couple of days after the Jay Gruden stuff went down.
Yeah, because they did not want to announce it when everything was going on. Like I think Nikki Jibibala, I always mess up her last name, from the Washington Post, was like they didn't want to be tone deaf or anything. Like I mean it was a lose-lose situation, to be honest,
Yeah,
right? Like if
I mean
you
for real,
can't,
for real.
yeah, the one thing I don't understand, I gotta call out my Chicago brethren, Mr. Jason Ryan, on this. Who in their right mind thought announcing it the week of was a good idea? Like the week of. He said that in his brief. So they were gonna go with that, like no matter if the emails were released or not. I don't understand that. Like, and then to say we do not expect there to be this many fans who wanted to come to the stadium to see his jersey retired. I mean, that just shows this outsider mentality that I feel like a lot of these new people in this new regime have towards this team. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people are angry, even when they see the positive steps, like the president being fully transparent, which has never happened here in DC for this Washington football team. Um, Stuff like that, like like they don't really know the traditions of this organization. Like they're trying to get there, they're trying to get to that point, but like stuff like that is what really rubs a lot of hardcore fans that have been here for a long time, um, older fans as well, like the wrong way. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents, I guess, about the situation.
Hey man, it's a long road to the top, especially from where we started from, like where we was perennially the worst team in the league and just the laughing stock basically. So like we had to start from there. And honestly, the first step to improvement is realizing what you need to improve. So I feel like that's where we're at right now, figuring out like what still needs to be done, and the next step is like making a plan of action to get better. Like so it's like we know what needs to be done. So how are we gonna go about doing it? So I feel like that's where we're at right now.
Yeah. Um, to a couple points down south. Scott Turner, horrible play. Yeah. I mean, we kind
Yeah,
of touched on that. Um, I don't. I honestly, I feel like he's here. Like I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. Ron Barrow's guy. I wanted to see what he had last year. Wasn't the best of years, but I thought it's because of the weapons maybe. Like let's see once we add a couple of guys like De'Ami Brown and get Terry going in his third season. But I mean, we're seeing pretty much the same things, like 3rd and 8, 3 yard slant to Terry. I mean, you talk about the 4th down play calls that were, I don't know, egregious. Or the other 3rd down calls. My bad. I don't know. I don't know. Scott Turner. I feel like he's just there because he has that connection with Ron Rivera now, and also North Turner's son helps a lot as well. But I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. David
I
DC,
mean
Sean Taylor.
his dad ain't do too well here either. So
I know,
that
but
leash could only go but
it's
so far.
yeah, but uh, you know how it is in the NFL. It's always sometimes it's who you know that matters the most. Dave and DC are who you know or who you are, I guess, like family members with, I guess. Dave and DC, Sean Taylor was the most talented athletic player I ever saw game to game. Amazing passion. Darryl Green may be the best player of all time, but Taylor was the most purely gifted. Yeah, Darryl Green is my number one favorite player of all time, and Sean Taylor is number two, man. I think Evan, you touched on it beautifully. For children who were raised in the 2000s, I mean, Sean Taylor was even more of a legend because we were children and we looked at our favorite football players as heroes. But yeah, he was amazing. Life cut very, very short. He was getting, like I said on Facebook, he was becoming an even better person off the field and stuff. But I mean, obviously it sucks. It sucks. Um, but yeah, like you
Yeah,
said, glad that
the
he's doing okay.
2005 Washington football team is they're the ones that got me into football, man.
Yeah.
Like they're the ones that got me interested in football.
And if this team keeps playing like this team might be the one that doesn't get you interested in football, man. And this is
I mean, you think that, but there's something in the back of my mind saying, bro, this ain't even in the 5 worst Washington teams that I've seen in my lifetime. Like because if nothing else, at least this team has somewhere to go. Like we know that we know they can be better, but like with other Washington teams,
can
like
they?
and in the end of the 2000s and the first half of the 2010s, well, minus that 2012 team, you kept thinking like this is just about the best we could do.
Or
But then you compare that to this team and we're frustrated because we know they can be better.
I I see where you're coming from, and like this team also has young talent, which has not really been the case in the past when we've had bad teams. I
I,
mean, look at 20.
I mean,
I know,
we have young talent, but the thing is, since we won the division last year, now they not allowed to be young no more. Like we're not looking at them like young players no more.
that's a good point. That's a good point. Um,
But hey,
yeah,
that's what comes with the territory. That's what comes with the territory. You win the division, of course, there's going to be expectations the next year.
Yeah. I mean, we were 7-9 too, though, so I don't. At least for me, the expectations weren't high. Again, going into the season, I had them going 8-9 or 9-8 at best, but I don't know. I don't know, man. But yeah, last thing, we don't want to hold you guys too long. I see D Life asking what college quarterback should we keep our eye on. I mean, if we keep losing like this, then Malik Willis is a good college quarterback that I've heard that might be drafted pretty high out of Liberty too, local-ish school. Who else? Who else?
That's the
No more
main guy.
Rattler. No more Rattler. That ship has sailed. That boat has sailed. The riverboat.
Man, and you know what's worse?
Yeah.
The school he goes to, Oklahoma. If it's one position they've been known
Yep.
lately, is quarterback.
Bro,
If
this
it's
man's
one
is so
position,
cocky though. Oh my god.
so if Oklahoma look at you and say you're not the guy, then why would a professional football team say that you are?
Yeah. I mean, his character was already like in question, like outside of his play, and then his play just crumbled too. So that's no. But who do you think? Who do you think would be a good fit here in DC? Because
I
it's
do
sad that
like
we
that.
have to ask these questions now because we're only 6 weeks into the season. But
Yeah, I
that's
do
what
like
it is.
that guy out of Liberty. Although, truth be told, I feel like this year's class at quarterback isn't exactly the strongest.
Yeah,
Because I mean, like, who would you say is the best quarterback in this draft?
I think
Like,
Willis. Yeah,
right, you said Willis, the guy out of Liberty, right?
yeah.
And he might not even go in the first round.
Hmm.
But then a guy like Sam Howell might, only because
Mhm.
he's a quarterback and he plays for North Carolina.
I mean, I like
Like,
Sam Howell. That was one of my favorite quarterbacks like going into this year.
my point is Sam Howell is going to get drafted way above his ability.
Yeah,
Like, he's
quarterback.
like
Man.
I'd say Sam Howell's a solid mid to late first round pick, but because he's a quarterback and because you could give him the label of best quarterback in the class, he got a good chance of going top 5 because of those two things.
Yeah, yeah. He might be what Justin Fields was like in terms of um where, let's say, so if he was coming, I feel like he has, well, obviously they're completely different players, but I mean, like you said, like about middle of the first round type of player. But yeah, like you said, he's probably going to be drafted like way higher than that because of this quarterback class being as putrid as it is, and there
And
being a bunch of
and
needy quarterback teams.
that's gonna cause the team to completely miss an area that they desperately need to fix. Honestly, I hope that's not us.
Yeah.
Like, I hope we get our quarterback in the future, but I just hope that it doesn't come in the top 5. And I never thought I'd say that, but only because this year's class does not look strong.
Yeah, which sucks because this is the year we're probably going to draft high because the Cowboys are at the top of the division and they'll probably win it. So that means like there won't be a situation likely where we're 7-9 and we're division champs. So like this is the year that we needed to go after a
Oh
quarterback,
yeah,
and the
speaking of the
quarterback
Cowboys,
class
they're
is
losing
stupid.
again.
Huh?
They're losing again. It's 14-7.
Yeah, but even if they lose today, like, and again, we talked about this off camera. I predicted it because I thought, the Patriots, this is one of those type of games where the defense just shows up and they shut people down. Even if that happens, I think the Cowboys are so the Washington football team right now is technically ranked second in the division. We're here. We're here. The Cowboys are here. They're still a level above us. Like, even if if they're 2 games above us, it's not really 2 games, bro. Like, they are a better team. I hate to say it, but they are a much better team than the Washington football team. We initially thought, of course, their offense was going to be extraordinary and they're going to be much better on offense than us. But their defense also has played better than us so far this season. Led by, of course, DMV's own Trevon Diggs, Maryland guy.
Trayvon Diggs.
Yes. But yeah, so the last point I wanted to ask you about, last question before moving on to next week's matchup. I don't agree with that. Again, I'm in Chicago. And Justin Fields has not shown me to anything more than where he was drafted, to be honest. But so last question I want to ask you before next week's matchup. getting to that talk, what are your thoughts on Dustin Hopkins?
Dustin Hopkins. Well, I've tried to give him chance after chance after chance. Honestly, I think it might be time to let him go.
But who's out there though that we can sign?
And I feel like that's the reason why he's still here. It's not because of what he can do, what he's shown us. It's more so when you look around the league every 2 seconds. There is a missed extra point here, a missed field goal here. Arizona just made a field goal, and I have no idea how they did it. It was some type of witchcraft the way it just snuck in the upright. But the point is, every week, miss field goal, miss. And I feel like, if nothing else, that's why Hopkins is here, because it's like we're looking around the league and thinking, is anything out there even better than Dustin Hopkins?
Yeah. I agree with you. We're stuck. We're stuck. This is why all these fans, including myself, were like, we need to replace Dustin Hopkins in the offseason before the season started and get a better kicker, because we knew going into the season. I mean, it's hard. It's hard mid-season. Like, you're always going to get kicker injuries. You're going to get bad performances from kickers around the league. And there are going to be teams that pick up kickers off the free agent market, and you're going to be left with nobody. And right now, we're stuck with Dustin Hopkins. Guys, to be honest with you, we're not going to let him go. We're probably not going to let him go because there's nobody else that can actually take his place. Like, we'll probably bring competition. I hope we bring competition, right? But I feel like it's competition at best, to be honest. I don't think there's anybody that's going to supplant Dustin Hopkins. Unfortunately, he had oh my gosh, I even wrote this in my notes. He made a 50-yard kick. His first kick was a 50-yard kick. I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked when I saw that. Then he followed it up with a 42-yard make. And then he followed up with a 42-yard make, and then he missed a 42-yard, I believe. So, mixed bag as usual. But yeah, Ron the Statue Rivera once again stood silently powerful. I do notice that, like, he doesn't really talk to the other coaches and stuff, and doesn't really show too much emotion. But I feel like that's just, I don't know. That's just, he's always been like that. He did show that emotion on that, I think the hot mic caught him on with I don't know, I think he was calling out the refs or something for the Chiefs offensive line holding all the time and stuff. But I don't know, man. I feel like the refs, yeah, they made like a couple BS calls, like the offensive pass interference on Terry, but I don't feel like the refs cost this game. I think it was
No.
awesome.
Kansas City was just a better team.
Yeah.
Like, plain and simple.
Sad that Jaguars got right off the streets this week. Like, they won, or
they won.
I mean, they did win, yeah. Urban Meyer's first win.
And it didn't even come in America.
Yeah. Okay, Evan, to end this off, what are your thoughts on this upcoming matchup against we have the Green Bay Packers next before the Broncos. The Green Bay Packers, Sunday, October 24th, 1 o'clock. Is this going to be a Fox game? Because this is going to be a Fox game. We've had 3 straight CBS games. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Like, I feel like this is going to be an uphill battle, mainly because the Packers defense on paper is better than the Chiefs defense, which just held us to 13 points.
Although they don't have Jair Alexander. I think he's injured. So
they don't have Jair Alexander. And that leads me to my next point, because if I'm being honest, because you heard some players on the team talk about confidence this past weekend. Honestly, I feel like the defense might be getting confidence from this game. Like from the Chiefs game, because honestly, they did better than a lot of people thought they would.
I'm gonna add the caveat for 3 quarters, because then I feel like they gave up, Evan, like towards the end of the game. I mean, how many 3rd down conversions did we see? Like, I mean, I agree with you. For 3 quarters, I agree with you. The defense
for 3 quarters definitely, but the offense got to provide a spark. Yeah. The offense got to provide that spark.
And you notice how when the Chiefs turned over the ball, it was usually when they already drove down the field, and it was on they were right. It was right before they were going to score a touchdown, is what I'm trying to say. Score a touchdown, score a field goal. When we turn over the ball, it's on our side of the field, and it's at like the 15, 20-yard line. Antonio Gibson, for example, that first fumble, egregious, was on, I think, the 25, 30-yard line, and that swayed the momentum for sure, because it was on our side of the field. So the Chiefs were already pretty close to the end zone.
I
and
wouldn't
you know the
necessarily
Chiefs
call that a swing in momentum because Kansas City gave it right back like three plays later.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say that's a swing in momentum. I point more to the Dustin Hopkins missed field goal.
yeah, but my point is that whenever we turn over the ball, even when Taylor Heineke throws picks, I don't know if you notice this, it's always on our side of the field. We don't drive down the field before those turnovers happen, which are even they're doubly costly, double costly. They're a turnover, obviously, which is costly, and they happen on our side of the field. So it leaves the defense, right, having to face an uphill battle, right, because their opposing offense is pretty close to the end zone. So like, and if this continues to happen against some better offenses, like, or at least better offenses that have played thus far in the Packers and the Bucks, then we're gonna get shellacked. We're gonna get crushed even more than we did today. What bet, Chris? What bet? I didn't bet anything on this. We all knew this was gonna be a blowout. I predicted 38-23. It ended up being 31-13.
31-13.
So, I mean, yeah. No identity. That is true. Defense did look better though. It did look better first half, but Chiefs just overrated. I don't know about that. Their offense just hasn't been clicking thus far, but I feel like this. We said this. I think we said this. This is going to be their get right game, and then they're gonna, start clicking, and they're going to be the Chiefs of Bowl. I still believe that. Although Patrick Mahomes, that I think it was the first pick, the one where he just threw it up, that was one of the worst.
No, that was the third. I mean, that was the third turnover.
Third turnover, but I think second pick then.
Yeah, second pick.
Yeah, that was an abomination. But it didn't matter because they still won 31-13. That's the Kansas City Chiefs for you. Or the Kansas City NFL team, I'll say that. Okay, so you said the Packers gonna be tough test. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is still that bad man. And you got Devontae Adams as well. Aaron Jones didn't have the best of games, I think, but he still was pretty good today. Yeah, no, and their offense is clicking. That's the opposite of the Kansas City Chiefs. Like they both have great offenses, but the Chiefs offense has underperformed, right, before this game. And the Packers have just been rolling, and I think it's gonna be another blowout. I think our offense is gonna play a little bit better, but I think at the end of the day, it's still gonna be at least a 14-point margin. That's just my take on it. But we'll talk about it obviously a little bit more throughout the week. This game is done. Sean Taylor's retirement ceremony was a highlight for sure. And on to next week. Green Bay Packers coming up 1:00. I think it is away. It is away too. Yikes. But yeah, see you guys throughout the week. Evan has great content coming up. Noah has great content coming up. Abdullah has great content coming up. And then I got okay content coming up. But with that being said, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe to DMV Sports Zone channel. We're trying to post fire content on here as much as possible. Thank you, Dave, for the first donation ever on this channel, on these live streams. $10 donation. We appreciate it. And thank you guys all for the support. And we're on the road to 2K subs. Let's get there. And thank you guys, everyone, for joining in the chat today. Chris, Jared Sports Takes, joined Torch, D Life, Samuel, Patriot Clips, down south, Dave, of course, Tone, Redskins, Washington football team fan Ho, and DJ 881, 3-time Super Bowl champ Skins, and yeah, everybody. Thank you guys. It's been a tough day, been a tough week for us fans, but on to the next. Peace.